Hello, I'm Tommy Moore from the Bartitsu Lab, and as you might have been able to tell from the get-up today, I'll be talking about World War II combatives, as it is the anniversary of the D-Day landings. Now in this video I wanted to talk about the importance of having a small, consistent toolbox of skills. Because as you can imagine, many people learning the unarmed combatives during that period might have only had anywhere between 6 and 12 hours training at best. So if you think about the seminars that you might have been to, which might have been much longer than that, and how little you probably remember from them, you can gain an appreciation of just how much of a small fragment this was of anyone's time. So therefore what you did learn had to be useful, had to be applicable, had to be flexible, and ultimately it's down to you as the learning individual to personalize what your toolbox looks like. Because you may be tall, you may be short, you may be fat, you may be thin, you may be differently abled in any number of ways, and that will impact the types of combative solution which is best for you. So it's a very hyper-personalized thing. But anyway, I'm going to break down circa 10 classic World War II techniques for if you were going to focus on 10, this would be my particular 10 when it comes to the unarmed platforms. So the first and most ubiquitous of the lot will be the chin jab. And I've got many videos talking about this, so I'm just going to keep it light, simple, punchy. Purpose of the chin jab: I want to either shake your brain to knock you out, or at least knock you down in a very percussive way. So a knockout, preferable; a knockdown, I can work with it. Whole point of a chin jab is to drive the hard, centralized part of the palm underneath the jaw and knock the head beyond the arse. You want to violently shake the brain and break his balance. Some of the best ways to use this are in hyper close range. So to do that, you want to take a penetrative step towards the opponent. So to step deep, almost like you're chest to chest. As you do so, your non-striking hand is best served by making some degree of brace. So grabbing a lump of kidney, webbing, backpack, whatever, something round the back. And as you do so, drive the hard central part of the palm under and up and over the opponent's face. So you're going under the jaw to shake the brain. So in real time, like so. You want me to rock the head, accelerate the head at speed. The reason I'm doing it in these clothes is that you need to be able to do these things in the clothes that would suit your role. So for example, if you were a person that was an airman, or you were working in aircraft, you might have something like this on. You would need to be able to do your stuff in the things that you naturally wear. But in any case, with the chin jab, you take a penetrative step, you achieve a solid grip, there's a brace behind, and you drive in the palm, bang! Where it fits and where it suits and where you're able to, you digit your fingers, which are phenomenally strong compared to their size. If we haven't knocked him out or knocked him down, we can use these fingers then to drive into the eye. And that might be to drive his head into a wall, to drive the head beyond the arse so they fall over. But in any case, it's important to think of this as a knockout or knockdown blow first. So it could become from a point of deception, discussion, looking for papers. You could be pleading, begging, faking injury, either way, but you're taking a penetrative step. As soon as you're here as well, his access to his weapons, his radios, his equipment is limited because of that body-to-body contact. So again, it smothers what he might want to do. Boom, straight into the face. Simple chin jab. And there are lots of different variants of that, but that's a simple version. A tiger claw is an extended range shot. So here it has all the body mechanics of a jab or a straight. It comes directly at the opponent's jaw, because again we want to knock him out. Boom. Fingers get the eyes as the palm hits the jaw. Don't overthink the fingers into the eyes. It's very hard to get fingers into eyes. So again, knock him down or knock him out is the preference. So again, you can use it from subterfuge, pleading, begging, talking, discussing. Here, launch it straight in. Hip, shoulder, foot, bang. Now you can fire these in multiples, or you can hit, grip. So you can hit and then grip at the face. And again, that will obscure vision, that will cause pain, distraction, so you can hit, grip, move off center, and do it again. So you can do it like a 1-2. You can do it as a hit and grip, or you can hit, grip, and move. See, I've flanked now to the side, boom. Much easier for me to hit him again, using the hard central part of the palm from wherever my hands naturally are. Bang! Hit him right on the jawline, boom! Fingers then grasping towards the eyes. I like these in threes. The reason I like them in threes is this. The first shot I throw, I'm probably very nervous. I'll probably fuck it up. He'll probably flinch. So let's imagine I've thrown it and I've just fucked it up. The second one, bang! I'll land him square because I've now recalibrated where I'm going and I've now got my offensive momentum. But then we're just going to add a third, which essentially is our insurance. So it's like firing 1-2, but we're assuming the first one's shit. So we know that this one is likely to be shit. Bang! We got this second one. Our third finishes the deal to knock him down or hopefully out. So 1, 2, 3. Forward momentum, barreling into the man, giving the best possible chances of me knocking him down or knocking him out. So as opposed to just thinking singular tiger claws, 1, 2, 3, it's good to think of them in a compound fashion. Third, edge of hand blow. Using this portion of the hand after the wrist, before the pinky finger. A couple of ways this is done. You've got your horizontal edge of hand blows, and they come in two distinct forms. You've got shorter hacking blows. So for example, I will do it outwards, horizontally, to the throat, from here. Note that I'm driving my body weight behind it too. I'm not flicking. That is a broken energy. Yeah. A fluid energy version of a horizontal edge of hand blow. So I'm moving across. The energy is fluid. Broken, fluid. I may throw fluid as it allows me to move to the next opponent, move to where a weapon might be, or it might enable another shot. From here. So this fluid energy might allow a tiger claw or a chin jab or something of that ilk. So you've got horizontal shots, making sure you drive into the opponent. Fluid energy, using your hips to talk. And typically something else follows that as it goes through. Typical targets will be the jaw and the throat for these. Get it into the throat, it's going to cause crushing of the larynx, it's going to cause drops in blood pressure, it's going to do the job well. However, if I hit to the jaw, I can still get all the same efficacy as I would from a punch to the jaw, so I'll still get a solid shot in. So vertical iterations of the edge of hand blow, much the same. Same weapon, now I'm dropping onto the target. This is very well used on collarbones, or if the opponent is bent over and we're in a grapple, on the back of the neck, on the kidneys, on the spine, you get the idea, it drops down. Again, it's important that your weight goes down with this. So you drop your weight, you bend your knees, you put mass. Sometimes I even like to step. So I step forward and drop this in. Vertical edge of hand blow. Collarbone crusher, neck, kidneys, sensitive parts. It's a good tool. Again, everything can be in fluid energy or broken energy. Fluid energy may allow me to draw a knife or a pistol or a torch. Broken energy allows me to do the same move multiple times to hack at that defense. Okay? Next, simple finger jab. So you see finger jabs in the works of Fairbairn. I like these personally as a flinch retreat. So if I'm moving backwards from a negative stimuli, if I've been caught on the back foot, as I move back, I'll extend my lead arm and just spear out towards those eyes. Fairbairn typically shows it in a more of a spear hand jiu-jitsu-esque fashion. I prefer my fingers a little bit more splayed, a little bit more flexible. So you have to find things that suit you. But for me, finger jab, moving away from the stimuli, it's one of the most painful things I can do, moving backwards. Of course I can do it moving forwards, but in this instance we'll look at moving backwards. I'm moving back from the threat, the strike, the swing, whatever. Yeah. And again, the eye is a small mobile target, so you can compound this. You can add doubles. You can add as many as you like, which is a very useful tool to have. Okay, next thing we're going to look at is, in the traditional Fairbairn manuals, the matchbox strike. So subterfuge, hard metal matchbox, held in your hand. You launch in ridge hand style to the face. Not many people today have a matchbox, or indeed then they might not have had one either, depending on the situation. But you can easily substitute that blow using the hard matchbox to be a forearm based blow, the body's natural lead pipe. So again, it's a great technique because it comes outside the field of vision. You want to activate your hip, your shoulder and your foot in the exact same manner if you were throwing a tight hook. And in this instance, we're using the lower portions of the forearm and we're crushing into the side of the neck or the side of the jaw. So again, we roll it in, roll that shot in, roll it in there. Now it could be that I'm standing slightly off center, in which case I can take it into the throat, into the broad mass of the face if I just want to stun. But you just smash this in. Make sure you put the right mass behind it. The hip should go, everything should go. You should treat this as if it were a baseball bat. It's going to go through his head. You need that level of torque and swing in your hips. From here. It's a good, solid, robust weapon. Easy to use. Now, let's get down to a bit of a grapple. Now, a large portion of Fairbairn's career, and many of the other World War II combatives instructors, is in judo, is in jiu-jitsu. That takes longer to learn than some of the more percussive elements. But one of the most important skills that anyone could learn, if you think about redacting that toolbox down to the 10 things I'm talking about now, is what he terms the Japanese strangle, which we today call the rear naked choke. There are a number of entries to this, but in essence we need to get used to being able to compress both arteries with our arm across. And again, because of the clothing that I'm in, sometimes this will have to modify for me. So it might need to change from a strangle to a choke, which comes across his windpipe here. But either way, we want to take this enemy out. So whether we take his blood, which is fast, or his air, which is a little bit slower, a little bit more painful for him, either way, the objective is still the same. So Fairbairn has a pretty simple entry, a push and a pull. Push one shoulder, pull the other. So you end up here. I've got a heavy weighted bob, so he's not turning as much, but you get the idea. Push and a pull. We weave one hand across. We put one hand around like so. We grab the back of the head and we squeeze. And there are a number of different manifestations. So for me, because of the clothing that I'm wearing and because of the height of this bob, I'm going across the windpipe. You can get the elbow directly underneath the jaw and you're sneaking this in where you can. So you want to ballistically get it in, but you need to make sure you get neck. You don't want to just be crushing face. You want to make sure you're getting neck. Here, squeeze. You can take this down. You can take it to the floor. There are lots of different adaptations. I prefer a traditional judo version using a grip like so and focusing on the windpipe. That's just my preference. But the Japanese strangle, being able to apply and weave in a rear naked choke. It's a very, very, very important skill to have in World War II combatives, because finishing people in other ways is messy and noisy. If you imagine you chin jab someone, bosh, they go to the ground, you start stamping and kicking their head in, there could be lots of screams, lots of shouting, lots of unwanted noise. Whereas if you can ballistically achieve the entry, then finalise the choke, whatever your preferred iteration of that is. If you can achieve that, you can do it very silently, very efficiently. So the Japanese strangle, very, very important. You'd be remiss, if you're talking World War II combatives, not to talk about knees to the groin. And again, this is best served with some degree of attachment. So it's webbing, shoulders, back of the head, some degree of attachment, driving the knee up, point of the knee. Ideally, if you do get this to the groin, bear in mind that he may well lurch forward and grapple you further. So you may wish to knee and drive off, or knee and flank off. Once you've achieved those damaging knees to the groin, you want to make sure you don't end up in a nasty bear hug prolonged grapple. So you achieve, let's imagine you try your chin jab, it doesn't quite work, grip, and again, with all things, compound is often king. Multiple attacks. Multiple attacks, because humans, like their eyes, their groin is something they're very keen to keep safe. So it might be the first knee, he twitches, he moves, he puts his thigh in the way. So you want to make sure you're able to work in ballistic, nasty, horrible bursts. Meaning that if you fire that 3 or 4 times in quick succession, with venom, with bad attitude, at least one of those is going to be smashing into the testicles or the pelvic bone. That's very, very, very important. Okay, next thing we're going to look at is the Thunderclap Slap. And again, this is quite simple. Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, Hiteiuchi, cupped hands. Cupped hands, smashing over the ears. And again, this can be in a number of rhythms. So it can come from gesturing, placating, surrendering, whatever. Both can hit at the same time. You'll also notice that my body weight's moving forward into him. I'm not leaning back. I'm always on the aggressive. I'm always on the front foot here, nose over toes. So smashing here, disrupting and damaging his eardrums, causing confusion, potentially knockdowns. Some people can even get knocked out by these strikes. Bang! The thunderclap strike. You can do it in a broken rhythm, so it can go 1, 2. But again, it's important to get those ba-boom, that rhythm as close to each other as possible. You don't want 1, 2, you want bang, bang. So simultaneous, separate. These can also be done from behind, bam, in advance of pulling on the eyes, taking of the throat, other bits and pieces like that. Hiteiuchi, boom, or boom. Cupped hands tend to work best. Okay, moving then through, yoke of hand, using this here. Now this tends to work best if you're a bit bigger, you're a bit stronger. You don't have to be a juggernaut to pull it off, but it helps if you've got a bit of mass behind you. And essentially you're driving the yoke of the hand up into the windpipe. It is a strike first and then a grip second. That's very, very important. So again, this can come from deception, disguise, whatever. That needs to hit. The mechanic needs to be exactly the same as the tiger claw, as it would be for a right cross, as it is for the yoke. So it strikes and hits right into that windpipe, turning the hip, turning the shoulder. Once I've achieved that, I'm going to maintain a grip on that throat. In reality, it's very hard to finish any degree of strangle or choke from here, unless you've got him against a wall or he's against the floor, and even then it takes time. But what you do want to do is elicit panic and fear. Hands that might have otherwise been going elsewhere, to a gun, to a radio, to a light, are now going to stop my hands crushing into his trachea. So again, this is a good way to demand the attention of his hands. Once I've achieved that, and demanded the attention of his hands, I might move off centre, boom, and then do something a lot more ballistic. So it's about surprise. You want to leave him choking, and you hit him. If he's not fallen back, if he's not fallen to his knees, achieve that grip to demand the attention of his hands. Move off centre, bam! Smash him with something else. Nice, nice and simple. And finally, if you find yourself at very close range, some important tips. Make sure you're balanced. Make sure that you lower your body weight. This is very important. Don't fall over. Now, this is where some knowledge of wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu really comes into play. But again, that's a learned skill. It takes time. So whilst the World War II materials do go over that, in reality, it's something, many people are quite instinctive grapplers anyway. But if you can remember to keep your balance by lowering your body weight, dropping your base down, that will keep you safe 9 times out of 10 with relatively unskilled opponents. Once you've got that, you might want to do some percussive strikes to allow yourself to make room, make distance, draw a weapon, do something else. So an inverted palm strike happens here. So the thumb is down. So we're here, we're in this grapple. You might be biting, snarling, fighting, kneeing, wrestling, whatever. As soon as you see a gap, you might give them a cheeky headbutt, boom. Give yourself a little bit of space, rotate the shoulder, bang, and you're hitting thumb down with the palm into the face. So from here, bump, you might give him a shoulder bump, you might give him a headbutt, whatever, you might shove him back a little bit, and you crash him along the jaw, or even into the temple because you're using a palm strike. Once that's struck here, so we could be grappling, I'll nudge him with the shoulder, boom, once that's struck, I might use this to grab a lump of face, pull it back, do something else. So I can inverted palm hook, grip and strike, or I might use this to peel off and make greater space to shake his brain or knock him down. So that's a kind of quick 10 tool emergency toolkit that you might consider for World War II combatives. So the chin jab, bang, the tiger claw, boom, edge of hand, horizontal or vertical. We've got the finger jab coming out or coming in. We've got the forearm strike or the matchbox, boom, coming into the jaw, into the throat in any number of directions. We've got the Japanese strangle with that twist entry here and achieving it in any number of ways. And knowing the difference between a choke and a strangle, very, very important. Compound knees to the groin, enabling a clinch, being able to smash into this groin using the cap of the knee, using the hard part of the knee. That's a very, very, very important tool to have. As we start to look, then we've got the Thunderclap Slap. So again, using our cupped hands against the ears in broken rhythm or simultaneous rhythm. We've then got the yoke of hand, using this bit of the hand, the web of the hand, as primarily a strike, but then as a grip to demand and maintain attention. And finally, what we got at the end is an inverted palm hook. So from a close grapple, from here, being able to strike thumb down with the palm, bump, strike, grip, do something else. That's just a little example toolkit of things you can do with World War II combatives. There are many, 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 many more. But it's important that if you think about the syllabus, it's redacted for a reason. And it's recommended to be hyper-personalised for a reason. For your role, for your size, for your skill set. All of these things will dictate what's important to learn. So that's a quick and simple top 10 from me to have a bit of play with on this D-Day Memorial Day. Have fun, train hard, enjoy.